Hello everyone. Today we have something I would like to share with you guys that is related to something related to Node.js and DynamoDB. Basically, there is a requirement. If I'll give you some example over here. For example, there is object one. This is basically the audit logs. Audit logs means, for example, if you have one object stored in your database and there is a new object coming in, okay, and now you would like to compare both the objects and find out what is the change between both of them. Okay, so we will store as a new record before change and after change. Okay, so that will give us the whenever we would like to audit a large number of records, we can easily identify that what was the last change and what was the new change. Okay, based on that, we can just find out the latest object. We will also store the latest object after the first entry of any log. Okay, so this is our topic today. So let me just explain that how we will continue with this one. For example, there is a example object that is something like id one, for example, and then name will be xyz, and then email, city, for example, city will be uh, any city. For example, let me write it nyc. Okay, so this object is stored. For example, this is a database object. Store this object is stored in db. Okay, let's create a similar other object, const example object 2, and that is, for example, id same as 1, but now the name is changed. Name changed from xyz to abc, and city also changed from nyc to virginia. Okay, so what are the two changes happen? Number one is name and number two is city, because the stored object in the database contains two information, that is the name and the city is different. And then the new, when we get the new request for the same id, it is changed from abc and city virginia. Before that it was, now this is the old change and this is the new change, name and city. Okay, so we need to record these changes and we have to keep the latest object stored in the database. So let me share with you that what will be the schema for this one. If I'll go to my github, and I'll show you that how that schema is working, and that will easily understand that how it is going. So if you see here, we will store like this one, and main id, and I will store as referee. I will let you know that why we are using this id. Then we are using ref id. Ref id will be the main id over here. Okay, and afterwards that we will save the latest object, the object that is coming in the request or in the response. So after that we will store old changes. Means old changes are these changes. Old value, I keep the name as old value, and new value, new date, old date, and entry status. So entry status 1 will be the latest object, entry status 0 will be the old object stored in the old audit logs stored in the database. So these are the things that we will discuss, and let me start with, this is the schema that we will follow up, and let me show you that how this is look like in our aws. Basically, before starting this one, what you need to do, guys, you need to do something like you have to download the DynamoDB on your local host for testing purposes, so you will understand that how we will continue with this one. So here, if you go here, local db, or if you have a docker container, you would like with the docker image, you can go here. For this one, you everything is available over here. You can just have to download this from here. Anyone, I already downloaded, so I cannot download again. Already make it done on my local host, so that's why. So when you would like to execute this one, when it is downloaded correctly, what you will do, you have to go into the DynamoDB folder, and then you have to right click and then open terminal. And when you will open terminal, you will see that I will run this one. Sorry, what is this? Class library. Something is wrong. One moment. Java class not found. Maybe we need to run as an administrator. One moment. I already opened it somewhere. Uh, oh, sorry. This is already running. Sorry about that. You see, I have to use the same because this is already running. So if I'll, for example, make it again, now it will be run. It will always use port 8000. If you would like to change, you can change the port also by making the adding the parameter at the end. And if it is in use, so it will be changed through the other ports. So that is the reason that it was not working. So now if you see that our local instance is working now. So the second thing is, uh, we will do something like to check. I already installed the aws cli mode. You see, we can use aws commands over here directly on our local system. So this is the reason we can do the stuff right away on the local for the testing purposes. So if you will search for the aws cli, you will see many install or latest. This is how I install this in here. If you will go for the Windows, you have your Linux, my Mac OS, so you can install all of them. I have to just download this and directly run into the PowerShell, and then it is installed perfectly. So you can also check the AWS variant by executing this command. You will understand that what variants of the AWS we are using right now. You could see here. Okay, so this is one thing that I have done. So now let's back to our, there are different commands, by the way, to check it out. So I already, most of the stuff I already prepared. So because the video is getting so long, so that's why I already created some of the stuff. For example, if I would like to check my tables after creating and installing the database, so most probably when you will install the DynamoDB database, there is a default database available in that. But I remove that database and I have to make my own database that I need exactly. So this is the table name that I created, the audit logs. I already told you that I have used this schema in this table to store the data and store the values of all of the stuff that is being used in our audit logs purposes. Okay, so let's back to, so this is the table name. We can check with the AWS DynamoDB list tables and 8000. So what, yeah, so these are the command I already listed. I will put this link into the YouTube video link. So you can easily, use these commands to start the server. You can list the tables, you can delete the table, you can create table, put items and get items. But these are just example. You can use your own kind of data sets while you are working with the inserting or updating the objects. So this is I have just added it for your easiness, so you can come and just have to execute this command without any issue. If you would like to delete table, or would like to list tables, so you can easily do this stuff. Okay, let's back to our VS code and check that how it is working. uh, Here it is. What I have done, because I already created all the code right away, so it will be easy to explain. I will explain you guys in a good way, in a detailed way. So what we just need, first of all, we need to install npm aws sdk install. That is the very number one thing that we need to install because we are working with the AWS. So first of all, so for local configuration, I have to just added localhost, and localhost is 8000 is a port that is already displaying in our CLI mode. If you check here, we have already localhost 8000. So I have to give that, it gives us configuration, and then I have created a DynamoDB wrapper. In DynamoDB wrapper, I have created all the functions at once, so I can easily go over and just make my operations. Here I have created different objects, so I can just instead of making duplicates, I have to just right away use these instances, and have to create perform different operations. For example, this is a create item, the second one is get item, and then all items, delete item, and then bulk insert. If you would like to make 100 or 200, 300, 400, or 1000 of entries at once, you can use this bulk insert. So update item is a single item updations. This is a code for the single item updations. For example, there is a single key value that you can update. This is if object is empty. If this is I'm just checking for in some function, that if the object is empty, then I have to do not insert the entry again. So for example, if there is no object exist in the database, should not have to delete that. So that's why I've created this function, can update multiple items. In this one, I have created this for the multiple updation. For example, there is a one key value name and the city, so you would like to update all both of them at one in one request, so you can do this stuff over here. And these are all the expression that is used to just perform the operation. So I will explain you little more later on. Okay, but just I giving you the overview how we are getting there. These are the just numbers that I'm using in the ID. As I told you in the schema, that I'm using the dynamic ID to generate the 6-digit number, so I can use this ID to store it every record uniquely. So in the ref ID, I have created I am using this for the old and new object comparison. So I stored ref ID here, and then I have created all the other schema to update the object. Okay, so this is, and I have exported this class, and I'm using this on the index function. So this is one thing, and the other thing, yeah, the very important, because these are the manipulation operations that I have just created as the DynamoDB wrapper. But there is another class that I have created for the purpose of table creations. If you would like to create a table every time, you don't need to write the code every time. So what you will do is you have to create one class, and you can create the table right away with this. So you have to describe table name. You will only provide two parameters, table name and params. Okay, so params will be, I'll give you the example that how we will perform the params. So this is how we will create the tables in the single handedly. So this is the test run scripts that I have already put for the testing purposes. I will add into the GitHub also. Audit logs, then params name ID, that is I already mentioned that over here ID. And then I have to create the what will be the type of this one. Type will be hash, and attribute definition will be string. So read capacity units and write capacity unit I set as default 5. When you will create this, will create a table. And as you already see that when I try to hit this one, I am already see that there is one table exist. So if I would like to create another table, there is no problem. We can just put it in our code, and we can use this for the for creation another table. Okay, so this code I will put this sample script into. This is a complete sample script that is just for the testing purposes. For example, for the bulk insert, I have to just write the code, so you can easily change your values, or you can make a dynamic array, and you have to put direct you know entries directly into the DynamoDB table uh, as a larger data set. Okay, so that's the other thing. And let's check about the packages that we have just installed in the DynamoDB for the AWS. Sorry, this is log.json. We have to write only to the AWS SDK and Express. So these are the two things that we have. We can also install the nodemon to directly execute the process. So but I just for this script I just have to create it a simple script so everyone can understand that. You can make a nodemon install, so you can just right away when you will execute your script at once, so whenever you will make any changes in that, it will be automatically executed. So this is another thing, and all our logic is in here, and here is our object. So let's check this out, that how it is exactly working. Okay, let me execute this, and what this script is doing, this is the response coming from any data source. For example, there are a lot of things in this one: city, state, and these are not just a single kind of object. As I give you example that over here, this is a this is not a nested JSON object. This is a single object, and in this I have created the nested object, because this is one level, and there are many there, those are go to the level 2, and there are true false, boolean true false for this JSON coming in response, and the 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 response already stored in the disk. I will compare both of them. How I will do that, let you know, let me tell you. So first of all, I will take the ID from the response. As you can see that this is ID coming in response.data.id. I will take this ID and converting, because the DynamoDB only take the string, because we will define in the table as a string ID string. Okay, so I have to put the record ID, and then I have to check for the reference ID. If the returned response returning 0, then I will right away insert the record into the table. Okay, there is no nothing change. For example, there is no nothing available in the database, DynamoDB database. I will just right away insert the first entry into the database. If the record already reference ID already exists, and the length returning in the get item is greater than 0, then I'll go here. What I'll do is I'll sort items first of all, because sorting is very important to compare the results into the with the latest object inserted in the. So I'm making this descending order, so that I can get the latest date result on the top. So what I'll do is I'll check the old entry. If old entry is coming, I will, if there is old entry, I will use as latest object. If there is no old entry, I will use as a new object, because the schema is we have to, in the first place, we are not inserting the latest object. We are, for our old and new, both changes are same. Okay, so I will, old will be empty, sorry, old will be empty and new will be, this will be like this. If I'll talk about old record 1, record 1, the column will be old value and new value. So when on the first record, what I'll do is I'll s- I'll save as empty object, and what I'll do here, I will store, if in the first record, if there is no existing entry against that ID, reference ID, I will store empty. Otherwise, I will store, what I'll store here, I will store the complete object. For example, this object, if I'll take this object example, I will store complete object. What I'll do in this record second, I'll record, I will insert the second record. What I'll do is I will take this object, I will take this object, and the new will become old, and new object, sorry, I have created another one, latest object. When it comes to second record, when it comes to second record, there is a additional column here. So old change, for example, if we'll talk about this one, the old change was name and city. I will store the object changes name xyz, and city nyc nyc. Now in the new object, for example, this one is coming new object. So what will be the new value? New value will be name abc and city Virginia. Okay, so and there's additional object in the second record, additional column, for example, latest object, and latest object will be the latest object. What will be the latest object? Example 2, this one is the will be the latest object. Why we are keeping this one? Because when we will insert third record, for example record 3, so what we will do in this case, what we will do, we'll take this and we will compare with the old changes and new changes, and we will keep the in the third record we will keep the next latest object into our DynamoDB database. So it will be easily understand that what will be the old change, what will be the new change, and what will the latest object kept in the database. Okay, so all right, this is it, and I'm just checking this one. I'm explaining this record old entry, and new entry will be the response that is coming directly from here, and that is data response.data. And here we are. This is very important thing. Where we are doing the we are making the comparison. So this is I get the old change and new change. How I get? I'll send the old entry and new entry. When I send it here, first of all, it will check is it object or not. If it is not, it will return right away. Then what we will do, we will check for if the both argument are arrays. So I will just make the changes accordingly and return old and new one if they are only arrays, and they will compare. Basically this is a recursive function that is using over here. It will call again and again the same function and return the results into old changes, and as we put it here, that what will be the old change, what will be the new change. If the both keys have the argument, have the same arguments, for example both keys are same, first two keys and second keys are same, so we will return these empty result sets or whatever the empty object like this one. So we will return like this as a string. So this is what we will do, and compare each key value, compare recursively. And now in the last step, it is checking for the boolean values. The before value will be boolean, and then boolean value, and that was true, and now we make it false, so we will keep that record also. Let me show you with the example, because this is too much explanation now, and when we will see it in proper way, you can understand that. Let me empty the database first, so that we have no record in our database. So let me show you first all the records, so that we can understand that what we are talking about. Let me get all items. So if we will run this one, so see, we get all the results here. This is a very long object. If you will check that, this is all items coming by descending order. Okay, let me delete one by one. So let me just delete these. Okay, these are the only ones. Let me delete these records, and we will go item deleted successfully. Okay, so this will also give you the example how we can delete the record right away. So that's why I'm just executing this for your understanding. So let's move to another one. Delete, sorry, index clear, deleted. Now the last one, deleted, and this one deleted. Okay, item deleted success. Okay, so all the records are deleted. Now let's check what is in our database now. Empty database, there is no record in our database now. Now let's execute the first entry and check it out that how it goes. So I will execute first and then we will check the item created successfully how it goes, because there is no record. It will go here and it created the first entry into the log directly. Let's check that what change came in. Okay, so for this one I just have to comment, so to show you that what is the result stored. Before that we checked that there is an empty result, and now we will check for, sorry, terminal, and we will check is there any item coming to the database or not, DynamoDB database. So if we'll check, yes, we have the old value empty because there is no record, already entry status 1, and then id and the ref id, you see that there is 1111. Okay, and the new data set is in. Now what I'll do, I'll make a little change in the old object. For example, I will change as broadband, and I'll tbc. Okay, and then I will change another way, parkway to shortway. Shortway. Okay, I'll make changes this one, and then I'll change this one to Ali. Okay, and I'll change this one to oh, the server. Okay, and yeah, let's do these changes. Okay, CFO will make it CTO. Okay, so we can understand that is it changing in the internally or not. I'll show you the change by commenting the code, so you can understand that how it is working. Okay, I'll do uncomment these changes here, and now because we already have that record and the new response with the same id is coming on, so what we will do, I'll make uncomment here, so you can easily check that I make it a return over here, so you can easily check that what is coming in. You see what was the old change and what was the new change. Before that it was parkway, I make it shortway. Okay, then there was the old change in first name on the first record was Hassan, and then it is changed to Ali. And then there is a first record Rizwan, and then I write it the servers, and then I change from CFO to CTO. So this is old object coming in, and this is new object. So if I'll try to store this one into database, old changes and new changes, now it will be stored perfectly into our database, and we will check the record. Item stored. So now what we will do, we will just check these items directly, that what is the old change and what is the new change. If we'll check here and I go, sorry, I didn't uncommented the code. If I'll uncomment, we will see the descending order, because the last entry coming into the uh, on the top. Okay, so this is coming latest object, old change, see the old change, parkway, shortway, Hassan, Ali, Rizwan changed to the server, and then as broadband to add broadband TC, officer's name from CFO to CTO, old change, new change, and the most importantly, you check the entry status one, then entry status one, then entry status 0. So you can only, if you would like to what is the latest change, you can filter with the entry status 1 and you can get the records without any issue. Okay, so where we can just write a query into the our DynamoDB that get the records where entry status is 1, so you will understand that what was the old change, what was the new change, and what is the latest object after the change, after the new change. So for the next card you use this latest object, and you can just use this one for your audit purposes. So basically this is a audit purpose script, so that will be help somewhere to compare your audit logs anywhere in your project where you required. So Everything is easy over here. You can just run the function that you would like to, and you can perform the operation. I make these changes manual because I just have to create a script and you can use anywhere in your project. So that's why I created all the stuff in the one place so you can easily. So I'll put the link over in the, if you have any question, please comment below in the video, and I'll just adding this source code over the GitHub so you can easily check the stuff there. I already provide all the examples that I have made changes, so you can easily directly check from here and in the documentation, and I have write all the description over here, so you can go over the code and you can check what are the changes required for our project. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next video.